If you were an early adopter of the Wii U and you were bored, why, I can't imagine. You must have been in a coma or something, which would be the worst thing to deal with during prime Wii U hours.
Oh man, I told him he shouldn't get stabbed.
Yeah, the thought of being bored by the Wii U is as preposterous as anyone, especially me, being in a coma. How could I be in a coma? How could you be bored? Now, alongside your Wii U, you could pick up a few accessories, like the Wii U Pro Controller for 50 bones. Yeah, $50 to use this, or more appropriately, sit in the same room with. Because why can't I use this with Batman Arkham City, or New Super Mario Bros. U, or Epic Mickey 2? It supports the Classic Controller Pro from the Wii of all things, but no Pro Controller, which baffles me. This was just as expensive as any other standard controller at the time, yet wasn't supported like one. Sure, it was more common for games to use it than the classic controllers on the Wii, but I still feel that Nintendo viewed this more so as a niche side thing to offer rather than a legitimate alternative to the Wii U gamepad. But over time, it's obvious they started to embrace it a lot more, with Mario U getting an update to enable support a few months later, which is really great because many love this thing. Much like how many love elder abuse, the Wii U Pro Controller is like bestiality. I don't like it. Alright, I wouldn't go that far. This guy has all the makings of an excellent controller. A great D-pad and buttons, good sticks, a comfortable shape that fits well in the hands, an 80-hour battery life, a surprise visit at work. Wait! 80 hours on a single charge? I'm not even sure you can physically use a Wii U for 80 hours. And hey, it uses a mini USB cable to charge, which automatically puts this leagues above the Wii U gamepad's proprietary AC adapter. Everything about this seems to be a winner. What's your definition of winning, by the way? It better be this. They put the damn thumbsticks on the top and the buttons on the bottom! Oh, so this follows the format of the gamepad, with the sticks both on the top, which, in my opinion, works for that due to the size and shape of the thing. But here, it just feels awkward to me. I don't know, it's a good controller, but this one element just rubs me the wrong way. Plus, there's no motion control baked in here, no camera, microphone, really any of the fancy doodads in the gamepad, which is nice to have some peace and quiet for once, but makes it harder for certain games to support it. Still, a nearly essential purchase for the Wii U owner, alongside standard Wii remotes. Yeah, a lot of Wii U games sort of expect you to have these, and you can simply use your old ones on the new system, no problem, though Nintendo did re-release them in new Wii U flavored packaging. Only major difference with these Wii remotes is the sync button has a cutout on the battery cover, and you can press it with this tab on the wrist strap. It's about damn time they didn't force me to take the cover off to sync my Wii remotes. I've had so many problems arise after doing that. Of course, Wii U games like Nintendo Land require Wii remotes for multiplayer, though you also may want them to use Wii mode. So buying a Wii U, I can still play Wii games, huh? Well, how does that work? It's just a Wii. You have to click on Wii mode, the Wii U basically resets, boots up again as a Wii with limited options. We don't have things like the photo, news, or forecast channels. Basically, just the necessities here. The Wii Shop channel still worked, which meant you could play old school virtual console games on Wii U at launch. They were just in Wii mode. You couldn't use your fancy new controllers to play anything here. You can't really do anything you couldn't do on a normal Wii. When they said the Wii U would be backwards compatible, I wasn't imagining this. It's like running Windows on a Mac. It's inelegant, but it's functional. It gets the job done. Plus, it gives us a Wii with HDMI. It doesn't really do anything to the games outside of a clear image, but it's still really convenient and my preferred way to play these things. You can transfer the contents of your Wii to Wii U via these migration applications, showing Pikmin carrying all your data. See, that's the Nintendo I love, putting all the effort where it doesn't count. I may be bleeding out, but they put the Nintendo logo on the HDMI cable. The Wii U, as a package, felt underbaked. There was fun to be had, but it lacked cohesion. The console featured a bunch of ideas, but none of them really working together, and many of them lacking substance, depth, polish, intuition, direction. It had promise for sure, but it was buried underneath the clunkiness of an obviously rushed and poorly thought out product. The Wii U was obviously not lighting the world on fire like the original Wii did. though that doesn't mean it wasn't selling. By the end of 2012, the system had sold a little over 3 million units, which wasn't too bad. A decent start, all things considered, meaning as we entered 2013, the Wii U was positioned to maintain its steady sales. But before we take a look at how many units the Wii U sold in January of 2013 in the US, I want to take a peek at sales of Mucus and see how that's going. Wow, only 57,000 units in the month of January? That is rough for Mucus. Oh, I'm sorry, Mucus. After the launch buzz of the system died down, Wii U sales fell off a cliff. The lack of substantial content surrounding this thing definitely didn't help. A Nintendo TV arrived in December of 2012 and just wasn't this Christ figure Nintendo was hyping it up to be. It was fine, but as cool as some of these features are, you kinda had to go out of your way to use them due to how slow the Wii U was. You had to make an active effort to turn on the Wii U, boot up Nintendo TV, wait for everything to load up, all to select watching The Office in a slightly more novel way. A lot of these features were neat, but they weren't worth the hassle compared to just using a normal remote. TV was ahead of its time, but due to how clunky, sluggish, and half-baked the Wii U was, it just wasn't compelling to keep using, and it's obvious the service did not pan out how Nintendo wanted it to early on. Netflix wasn't a part of it until March 2013. TiVo and DVR support were promised, but never came. And Europe just flat out never got Nintendo TV. It had some solid ideas and worked for the most part. It just wasn't life-changing like Nintendo thought it was, because while it aimed to declutter and simplify watching TV, it kinda did the opposite. Everybody watches TV like this. Nobody watches it like this. So yeah, contrary to what Nintendo thought, this did nothing to spike interest in the console. Neither did the games that released after launch. Don't mind the second worst game of all time according to Metacritic, releasing on December 4th, 2012 as a Wii U exclusive Family Party 30 Great Games Obstacle Arcade. What, that didn't help things? That, alongside a handful of licensed games, launched in December, but after that, nothing. All we really had were just a few indie titles like The Cave and Runner 2 on the eShop, and even then, that was pretty much it for indie titles. It was slim pickings. Rayman Legends was scheduled for February, Lego City Undercover and Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate in March. We knew Game & Wario, Pikmin 3, Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101, and Wii Fit U were coming eventually, but like, that was all we knew at this time. There's some stellar titles in there, no doubt, but not enough to feel optimistic for the future of this system. It was obvious Nintendo had to do something to not only excite potential customers, but their current ones as well. So in came the Wii U Direct. A Nintendo Direct focused entirely on what Nintendo was cooking for their newly released system on January 23rd, 2013. Now that's why I bought this system. To find out why I bought it. So, how did Nintendo instill hope in the Wii U's future? Mention how a Mario game is coming. That was more likely than me waking up tomorrow. This was a monumental moment for Nintendo fans. This Direct featured announcements of a new 3D Mario and Mario Kart playable at E3 2013, alongside the first footage of Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS debuting there, the next Zelda game, a new Yoshi game by the makers of Kirby's Epic Yarn, Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, a new Wii Party, an HD remaster of Wind Waker, a new project by Xenoblade developer Monolith Soft, and all kinds of updates on games like Bayonetta 2, The Wonderful 101, the announcement of Virtual Console games coming to Wii U, system updates to cut back on the loading times. This is like everything a Wii U owner ever wanted! Words! Yeah, a huge chunk of these announcements were merely saying, this is gonna happen, and no gameplay, screenshots, working titles, really anything to go off of other than Mario. To be fair, at the time, this is all we really needed. Assurance. Just knowing these big games were coming, even if it was to be expected, it was nice. Though it does make this Direct really underwhelming to rewatch. I mean, you truly had to be there. A new 3D Mario was exactly what the Wii U needed to showcase this thing's capabilities. I mean, that's what Mario 64 did and what Mario 3D Land just did on the 3DS a few years prior. Mario Kart was a surefire good time. The Wind Waker in HD looked gorgeous. Even if all we saw were a few screenshots, that was all we needed to not only sell us on the game itself, but the prospect of HD remakes on Wii U in general. The concept of the next mainline Zelda game was intriguing, as they were interested in rethinking the conventions of the series. Yarn Yoshi looked irresistible. The Monolith Soft game X was one of the first real examples of an exclusive that looked to rival hardcore experiences on competitors' platforms with this huge open world and quality HD visuals. The Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem affirmed Nintendo's commitment to collaboration with third-party developers, and the Wii U Virtual Console was launching this spring with NES and SNES games supporting Wii U controllers, Miiverse communities, plus discounted pricing if you bought the Wii versions, and they kicked it all off with one game every month for half a year, costing 30 cents to celebrate the Famicom's 30th anniversary, with Balloon Fight dropping right now. It felt good to be a Nintendo fan this month, which made the execution in February more tolerable. Rayman Legends was scheduled to launch this month. It was going to turn a barren first quarter for the Wii U into that, but with Rayman Legends. This was looking to be one of the finest 2D platformers of the generation, putting New Super Mario Bros. U to shame visually and creatively, especially when it came to use of the gamepad. Believe me when I say, most Wii U owners were looking forward to this one, and with nothing else really happening the first 2 months of the year, it was in a good place to get all the attention it deserved and then some. You can tell something happened instead, right? Close. Ubisoft announced mere days before its scheduled release that Rayman Legends was not only delayed to September, but was also not going to be a Wii U exclusive anymore. They initially said it was because they didn't want to disappoint the Xbox 360 and PS3 players who wanted to play the game oh so bad. They're so hungry.
I have not eaten in weeks.
It was later made evident that this was done due to the Wii U's slow launch and Zombie U's underperformance. Ubisoft didn't rip the exclusivity because of civil rights. In addition, Activision expressed disappointment in the system's launch. EA straight up said it wasn't next gen, and one of the Wii U games that was non-stop talked about since reveal, the game that was said to have been best on Wii U, Aliens Colonial Marines, was rumored to have been indefinitely postponed for the console. Nintendo's response? The Rayman Legends delay was the true start to all of these companies eventually abandoning Wii U. The launch did not meet expectations, and while I understand why that happened, some things just never added up. Ubisoft, because an M-rated first-person survival horror game didn't do well on the Mario Clown box, you delayed the E-rated Color Explosion in the same genre as New Super Mario Bros. U. Yes, A Clockwork Orange did not screen well at this movie theater. We will cancel the Lego Movie. Activision's disappointed in how their launch lineup went? I am too! Well, it wasn't all doom and gloom, as Nintendo held a Nintendo Direct this month, detailing mostly just 3DS software, though touching on some Wii U news. Most notably, a huge DLC expansion for New Super Mario Bros. U, replacing all the levels with brand new ones focusing on Luigi, titled New Super Luigi U, in celebration of the Year of Luigi. Sony's response that next week? Well, just you wait until LEGO City Undercover comes out. With new consoles on the horizon, all the excitement in gaming was aimed at them, especially when the Wii U didn't have much going on at the time. Though, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We have a year to build up an impressive game library and make some jaw-dropping announcements to ensure when the PS4 launches, the Wii U will be sitting pretty next to it, featuring great games at an affordable price with a bright future. And while things seem bleak at times, we can't ignore the fact that Ubisoft announced Watch Dogs for Wii U this month. The game, set to usher in the next generation of gaming, focused on hacking with smartphones, felt like a no-brainer with the gamepad, and come March 2013, we were officially escaping the Q1 drought and finally had some big releases.